Oh yes, Gary Alvarez is back in full force with a post early signing day thoughts edition. It's not going to be a long one. Yeah, there are definitely a lot of those out there, some good ones, Lockdown and some of the others, but this is a good one. I'm going to talk about this class. And before I start, I do want to say I'm going to be giving a grade at the end, but the truth is that every recruiting class gets a grade of incomplete for at least a year or two. That's just the reality of it because you're never sure what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates from the Forrest Gump show. Um, anyway, some top line stuff here. A really nice day for Luke Fickle and the staff. I mean, I'm going to get into specifics as to why I believe that, but um, you try and give objective measures of it. Well, they're a top 25 class in all the four major recruiting services, Rivals, ESPN on three, and 24/7. Rivals, which depending on who you ask, is probably the most respected of the lot. Really liked our class. Ranks us number 18 in the country. Certainly one of our best positions in quite some time. And depending on which service you're relying on, this is either our best or second best class in terms of rankings, uh, individual player rankings in the Rivals era, which I believe started around 2000, around the time we stopped winning Rose Bowls. We'll be back. Um, some high end things. 11 and let's use Rivals. We can't go through all four of these, but in Rivals, 11 4 stars, which would be a Wisconsin record. No 5 stars, but 11 4 stars spread very evenly amongst a number of different positions: offensive line, defensive back, defensive line, running back, receiver. I really like that distribution, and that would be fourth in the Big Ten in terms of average player ranking. I know Nebraska is ranked higher both nationally and in the Big Ten than Wisconsin, but that is because their class is significantly larger. And frankly, it's skewed a little bit because of Raiola, the 5 star quarterback who committed there after early committing to Ohio State and Georgia. Keep an eye on that kid. I know there's some Wisconsin ties there in the blood. I know there's some relatives that played for the Badgers, so wish him all the best. Some Big Ten high level things relating to the Big Ten West. Those are always more fun to talk about than trying to compare the class to Ohio State and Michigan. Although I will say with Michigan had a gigantic class, and the average in Rivals, Michigan's average per recruit ranking really wasn't much higher than Wisconsin's, and neither was Penn State's. They both were ranked higher overall, and they were ranked higher in per average, but the per average difference was like 3.5 to like 3.58 or 3.6. It was almost negligible. So we had a comparable class to Michigan and Penn State, which was good to see. Um, Turning back to the Big Ten West, I mentioned why I believe Wisconsin's class was better than Nebraska's. On paper, it was a much higher, or not much, but significantly higher, about a point 0.2 higher per recruit average on Rivals. The ranking: Wisconsin 18, Iowa was number 32 overall, and Minnesota, as I pointed out yesterday, Fighting Flex were 42. Um, the 24/7 reporter for the Minnesota Gophers tried to spin the 42 ranking with two 4 stars as opposed to Wisconsin's 11 as basically comparable to Wisconsin's class, uh, keeping in touch with the delusional thoughts that Minnesota's football program isn't somehow in the same league as Wisconsin's. I mentioned before, the Wisconsin performance against Minnesota recently gets coaches fired at Wisconsin and gets coaches promoted up in Minneapolis. A pretty good thumbnail. Um, the geographical composition of Wisconsin's class was notable. I know famously Fickle came in and talked about 150-yard radius around Madison, and I think he freely admitted yesterday that the realities of recruiting just a year later dictate that needs to still be uh, emphasizing many different areas besides that core base. Um, Many different states hit Maryland, which is a recruiting hotbed relative to its size. Very impressive. Hit Maryland well. Went in and pulled a defensive back out of South Florida that Miami, the Hurricanes, had really been hounding over the last month or so, which was really impressive in my opinion. To get Xavier Lucas, uh, and basically the cradle of defensive backs in all of America. His where he's from, Fort Lauderdale area, Miami area. Super impressive, and to hold off that charge because there was a time, and I think Lockdown pointed this out, or Rajiv or Justin, one of these guys, one of these very knowledgeable folk in the Wisconsin Badger community, pointed out that, and no disrespect to Paul Christ, but this never would have happened under Paul Christ for this particular recruit. Never would have happened, and arguably not under Barry Alvarez either. So those are all good things. Again, we're not going to know the grade of this class for quite some time, but I do know it's a lot of fun to give letter grades to recruiting classes. So with that thick, robust caveat, I'm going to go ahead and give this grade an A. Give this class an A. Okay. Does that mean that it's going to end up a college football playoff kind of class down the road? I don't. No one knows for sure. I mean that's asking a lot. But there's so many things I liked about this class. I like the distribution of the positions. I like that it's a very strong offensive line and an incredibly strong running back room. I think the Badgers can make the argument that the running back room that they are accumulating with Jones and Dupree and Azuka, who's going to be a very underrated guy. That three-headed monster might bring back some memories of you know some of the early 2010 Badger running back rooms with Ball and Gordon, James White. I mean, I'm not suggesting that those are all going to be successful NFL players. I'm just saying that it's the same kind of vibe. They all do things a little bit differently, and any one of the three, frankly, could get the most carries next year. I know that Tuca isn't quite as highly rated, but he is another Maryland kid. We really tag Maryland. Uh, just love what you see about him. He's an absolute bowling ball. He's got some speed, some sneaky speed, and I really like this room and Ches Malusi coming back too to be kind of the godfather of the room, which is a huge compliment coming from me. I am incredibly excited about this running back room, even post Braylon Allen. Anyway, so getting back to my premise, yeah, an A. This is an A. I don't. I mean, the National Signing Day is a day of optimism. And if you have no disrespect to some people I like a lot who know a lot of stuff, gave different grades, and that's okay. Um, but this is an A. I think given some of the headwinds that Fickles had to fight against, a somewhat difficult season, the fact that he retained every single recruit in this entire class that he had throughout this football season, even after a disappointing 7-5 year, says a lot about the vision of this program and the buy-in that these kids had. So hats off to to Fickle and his staff. Let me give you just a few names I really like from this. And this does not mean that there aren't many other names I like, but just some kids that stand out to me as far as the future. Mabry Metoyer, quarterback, the Woodlands, Texas. Phil Longo went all in on him, and Metoyer went all in on Longo. And we're going to see how that's going to work. He's going to wear number 11, which is a very sacred number, Daryl Bevel's number. So he has a lot of weight on his shoulders. But I like to see what his future is going to be. I think he's got a lot of promise. Ernest Wilner, defensive end from Maryland, late addition to the class yesterday, late afternoon. 4-star guy. Ohio State really wanted him. Maryland really wanted him. We went in there and got him. Emerson Mandel. I always love getting a kid out of Minnesota. Vic did the Greg Gard thing and got a really good player out of Minnesota. Offensive lineman. He's my favorite of the line. Just a mauler, absolute mauler. Dylan Jones. Talked about the running backs. This kid is going to be something special, I think, and that's no disrespect to the other two guys. I think any one of them could be a fantastic NCAA rusher for the Badgers. But Dylan Jones, just he has another gear, has the moves. I hesitate to say he's Melvin Gordon because you can't say that, but he reminds me as much of Melvin Gordon as any recruit they've had. And Emilio Agard, defensive back, Pennsylvania. Uh, he's not the tall, rangy guy that they're going for now, but he's just so skilled on the ball, and he could be a day one starter. Anyway, uh, hope springs eternal. The dawn is out, and congratulations to Luke Fickle, his staff, and all the kids who signed.